talk about printing and running slideshows. First, to print a slideshow, we go into Backstage View and go to the Print option. The dialog box that you will receive looks very similar to other Office applications. We can either print all slides, or we can print the current slide or enter a custom range. Now, print hidden slides is grayed out because I don't have any hidden slides in this presentation. Print selection is grayed because I don't have any slides selected. So I can give it a custom range like 1 through 5, 7, 10 through 12, for example. And as you see, it gives me the preview of the 9 slides that I asked it to print. By default, each page will be 1 slide. That's probably not what you want to do. You'll probably want to change this to 4 slides maybe, or even more. Here you can also change it to the notes page or the outline, depending on what you want to print. Depending on if this is for you or for your audience, you might make those selections. Print one-sided, of course, this is if your printer supports duplex printing, you may select those options. Are we going to print in color, grayscale, or black and white? Printing is pretty straightforward. It looks like it does just in other Office applications. It's pretty much the same in PowerPoint, except for the options of how many slides you want to print per page. Now, to show a slideshow to an audience, we can make several important setup options, and those will be on the Slideshow tab and Setup Slideshow. We have lots of options here, so let's talk about them. So, is this presentation going to be presented by a speaker? Is it going to be browsed by an individual or browsed at a kiosk? Now, browsed by an individual means it's browsed in a window. Kiosk is full screen. Now, I have options here. Loop continuously until someone presses escape. If I'm showing this at a kiosk, I just want it to run all day, I can click that. Now, loop continuously until escape won't actually loop unless I have slide timing, so I'll talk about it in a moment. If it doesn't automatically advance slides, what it'll do is when I reach the last slide, instead of getting a end of slideshow, I will loop back to the first slide. I can show without narration if I have talked over the PowerPoint, and I can also show without animation. I can disable graphic acceleration if I'm having some kind of compatibility issue. I can change the color of my pen or laser to a different color other than red. What slides do I want to show? Well, I can select a custom show here that I've created. We'll talk about those in just a moment. Advanced slides. Manually, I have to click the mouse, press the arrows on the keyboard. If I have timings present, they can automatically advance. If I'm showing this at a kiosk or somewhere where I'm not in control of it, probably want to use timings. Now, slideshow monitor, if I have a projector hooked up or multiple monitors, I can select what monitor I want to show the presentation on. Automatic is pretty smart. I only have one monitor hooked up to this machine, so I don't have those options. And then use presenter view if I have multiple monitors hooked up. One monitor will show the presentation, the other monitor will show presenter view, which is actually a very nice view. It shows the next slide, notes, and then the current slide. A new feature in 2013. Alright, so that's my setup show. Now, let's do a custom show. So a custom slideshow allows me to pretty much say what slides I want to show. Say I want to show these, and I'm going to call this just show 1. And I'm going to add. So there's my show 1. Now, if I want to use this, I go back to setup. If I want to use this, click close, go back to setup show, and now my show 1 shows up here, and only the slides I have selected show up in the presentation. So that is a custom show. If I want to revert to using a regular show, I'm going to go back here and select all. So that's how a custom show works. When I present, I can always start from the beginning, which is F5 on the keyboard, or I can start from the current slide, which is Shift F5. Useful keyboard shortcut. So F5 starts me from the beginning, as you see there. I'm going to go to slide 4 and Shift F5. As you see, I am on slide 4. Useful keyboard shortcuts. I can also, of course, use these buttons on the ribbon. Present online allows us to present our slideshow with a web browser, a free public service. So I can set this up where anyone can log into my presentation and view it remotely. That is beyond the scope of the course, but it is there. Now, monitor and use presenter view. These options were over here in Setup Show. They're also up here on the ribbon. Just another place to find them. Play narrations. Also, if there's audio on the slides, this option mimics this option right here. If it's unchecked, that would be show without narration. I can uncheck using timings even if they're present, which would mimic the manual here. And then show media controls. If I have a video or audio, media controls will show. Now, I can rehearse timings here. This allows me to set timings on slides. I'll click this. I'll just go through it simply here and show you. So I'll click it. I go into presenter view. You notice up here at the top, I get a timer. This is the slide time, so I'm going to let this go to 10. And I'm going to advance to the next slide. It resets here. This is the slide time. This is the total time. And I can go through and set the time for each slide. The total time of your slide is 18 seconds. Do you want to save the slide times? I'm going to hit yes. Now, if I go over here to transitions, notice I'm going to advance after 10.63, which is the timing I had. On this one, 5.95. And this we're on this slide about 1 second, and those are the only slides that I did timings for. So if I run this presentation, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There you go. It's 10.63. And then this slide was a little less. And there's the third slide. Now, the timings ended there, so this slide will sit here until I end the presentation or I get bored and go home. It won't automatically advance because we have no timing. Record slideshow allows us to start a recording, and this allows us to create narration. So kind of what I'm doing now, I'm using another software to do this, but this kind of gives you the same functionality as what I'm doing. So, we looked at printing and running your slideshows, and now you are ready to present to an audience.